Oh, welcome, welcome. Communicating towards his answer. Hey, Eric, hey, Cam. Everybody,
Oh,
nice
hi.
to see. Hey,
Hello.
Ushik, Corey,
Hello.
Christiane, hello. Yeah, we do have quite an amazing um, theme of the day or of this session. And we are looking at the idea of what does it mean to be truly honest? What is it actually to be honest? What is true honesty? We have heard in the teacher's manual in the Course in Miracles and learned about that the true meaning of an honesty is consistency. We will also look at that, what that really means. And I looked first for myself, bes yeah, not just giving myself right away an answer, but then what is it also in the world that honesty has a meaning? And there are many other words used. There are words used like sincerity, genuinity, openness, heartfeltness, to be heartfelt, to be truthful. That's those are all qualities of honesty. And yet Jesus speaks in the Course very particularly. It's not even used that much in the Course in Miracles, and brings it always in the context of an honest thought, an honest willingness, an honest question that is looked for an honest answer. And in that context, he will always bring it together with the holy instant. And before I give you the microphone, Erica and Cam, to share your perspective as a first perspective, I just want to share those three sentences from the chapter 27 at the end of the fourth section, where he says, only within the holy instant can an honest question honestly be asked. And from the meaning of the question does the meaningfulness of the answer come. And here is it possible to separate your wishes from the answer so it can be given you and also be received. The answer is provided everywhere. So that gives basically an insight that if we are talking here about honesty, we always have to go to the total meaning or where we are coming from a complete joining, from a recognition of oneness, from an experience within. What is your first perspective, Erica and Cam?
So I I don't know. I want to hear what you read again, but I'm going to look at it. So I feel this value in being honest as it is sharing exactly what I'm present to. If it's ego, I know it must be ego because, well, I might be sad or angry or um this is in terms of what I'm sharing with my brother. I feel a lot of value to be honest that way. But it came to a point lately where I thought maybe this is like ego is getting in there somehow because it's like, oh yeah, you're it's great, you're very honest. But at what point maybe there comes a shift where it's not honest about the ego anymore. It's I step into, no, I'm going to start to be honest about myself. I don't know if this communicates, but it's like, when is that shift going to happen where it's not just, oh, like I could say right now, oh, I feel kind of sad, but that's not my truth. So I'm questioning how I viewed honesty really, and if there's something new for me there. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Can't.
we are saying so quickly, just be honest. And there's the meaning, do not lie to me. Ne? But also that mind, that ego mind, doesn't understand that every story is a lie. Every story is a lie. Ne? It because it's a lie to the truth. Ne? And so be honest, or I'm honest with myself in the context, I'm not lying to myself would need to be translated. I'm no longer deceiving myself, and that I'm willing to no longer deceive myself would actually be opening the door or stepping onto the doorstep where I can say I want to be true to the truth and not to illusions. No? I don't want to buy anymore into the storyline that is observed. I want to be true to the truth, and the truth is not really within the perspective of perception. It is perspective of my alignment of thought with creative thought. And that makes a whole different, that opens up a whole different Pandora box. No? What do you
Yeah.
think, Cam?
Oh God, do you have something?
Well, no, just I'll say it later. Can. Yeah.
So I was this morning I was reviewing and looked into the course, the lesson book on honesty, and things were laid out very clearly in the focus and that holy instant and having that initial connection and willingness to have God be the one to guide. And with that, there is nothing that can be disingenuine or unhonest or dishonest. And so that part to play with the ego and the willingness of the ego to be a part of that willingness, even if you say to yourself, yeah, I'm there, I'm connected, but there was a confusion on if the ego willingness is allowed to be part of that connection and still participate in that the true honesty that is guided. So that's the initial thought there and feelings.
Erika?
Well, this is the thing. I've seen it happen so many times that when you coined it as exposing the ego's dishonesty, this quickens the path to get to the real joining.
Mhm.
So it's hard to say, oh, just try to skip over that because that doesn't work, right? We cannot just say, oh, now I am. Maybe sometimes we can. This is my question I'm asking from this joining here is, can I do that? Am I deceiving myself in saying that I even have to waste my time going into the exposing of the ego? And I don't know, maybe we only know in the moment, but I'm beginning to think that I'm thinking this wrong, that now it's a trick, and I need to just make that choice in the moment. This isn't it.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good point. And yeah, I hear you expressing actually, in order to clarify further honesty, we need to look at dishonesty and clarify what is actually dishonesty. And once I've clarified dishonesty, the honesty will shine by itself. And the ego will, because the ego only hides in the dishonesty.
Mm.
And dishonesty, if we really investigate into that, will always only be a dishonesty to the self, né? To the true self, to the truth in us. If I'm dishonest, that means I identify myself as somebody who I'm not. That's dishonest. I see myself and identify myself. Now we are starting in the workbook. Tomorrow I'm not the body, I'm free, for I'm still as God created me. Ne? If it's not that I'm not identifying with this thing I call body, but it's not real in my mind. I don't give it reality. If I would give it reality and say, yes, this is me, no? We did that for thousands of years, that's dishonesty. And so the same thing would be in situations, let's use something in personal relationships. Tell me honestly, yeah, did you watch that other gender or and have some feelings about it or whatever? And tell me honestly, no? And then we all, because we want to be so honest, we all tell what our perception of ourself is. But
Mhm.
that perception of myself is part of dishonesty because my perception of myself can never be true. My perception of myself is the same false as your perception of myself or your perception of yourself. And that is what the awakened mind kind of clarifies. And that's why it rather stays quiet or makes a joke or even goes into an immense expression of making up stories that have nothing to do with the imagery or the appearance. No? It can go in all directions actually. And or, or it expresses immediately how guilty I feel because I looked at that other person. And that's also not honesty. No? That has
Yeah.
all nothing to do really with honesty. No? Do you have anything with those examples in mind?
Well, Ushi wrote something and it's in German.
No,
I'm
it's
curious.
just about her connection with the internet.
Oh, okay. Um, yeah. I mean, it's just it it seems like the world's honesty is just another sort of trap to go into the dishonesty even stronger. Oh, I'm being so honest right now. Yes, I was. And then oh, thank you. It's not that at all. But for me, to catch this, I just would have to slow down a lot because this is going on all the time. I think I'm dishonest most of the time.
But it moves when you're able to speak and I'm going to be honest, or even if it's dishonesty, however, if they're speaking towards it, towards the intention, then there's the sharing and then movement and progress towards the end.
But
And
yeah.
no, what else?
I see, but there's like a space beyond it because I've done this actually with Christiana where something's going on and I reach out to Christiana and like trying to solve it, to get to the point. But I'll at some point it will come. I'm not finding it because I'm still trying to do it from the same place. It's like there's almost, I don't know how to describe it, but something lifts and I realize, shit, everything I said was so wrong. Like it was all my great ideas, but it was nothing. So I guess what it is I don't know how to be natural and be normal in the world, right? Because things come up and I want to follow my emotions, which sometimes are so overwhelming. I can't even talk normally. I have to go with it. I guess I want someone to tell me, but I think it's just in the moment with Holy Spirit. it's just trusting and listening to that. But
Well, if we investigate a little bit in what you just said, because I like it, the moment I find out uh, that, oh my God, what I just was sharing has actually nothing to do with what is really going on, and it's kind of meaningless stuff. Né? So if you're looking now from a distance, I'm already a different place in my mind. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to see that or say that, recognize that for myself. I
yeah,
shifted my position in my mind in order to see that. Now, where am I? That I can even see that was all just meaningless stuff and story. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm obviously when there's a commitment with expression or without expression, because it's the power of thought, there's the invitation, let's be honest with ourselves and let's say even about what appears on the storyline. It is an invitation to go into the heart, into the core of our being. That's the different place. Yeah. The moment I'm looking at presented storylines from that new place, from that place of being at home, let's say, I'm honest. And and so it's no longer really about figuring it out on the timeline or what the best outcome and result should be or will be, but it is then about the joining. Because there is immediately from that core of our being, it wants to give itself away, it wants to extend, it wants to share. And that
mhm,
happens uh, the moment there is a willingness for that. That is again, we have arrived again at the holy instant. And
yeah,
only when I allow that to extend to a consistency, now here I can bring in also the meaning of the consistency, then I can call that honesty because it is a spot in the mind, a way of thinking where all those things don't matter anymore. Opposition, conflict, contradictions. No? I mean, he speaks about that and he explains it in the teacher's manual. No? when he uh, when he says that the term actually means consistency. And what he adds on in the following sentences is exactly that perspective and necessity to become aware of. He says, there's nothing you say that contradicts what you think or do. Nothing is contradicting in my mind what I think or do if I'm at that point of new sharing. No thought opposes any other thought, no opposition anywhere to see or to experience. No act belies your word, and no word lacks agreement with another. There's an entire agreement. There's an agreement in the entire mind, in the whole sonship. Such are the truly honest. At no level are they in conflict with themselves, and therefore it is impossible for them to be in conflict with anyone or anything. Isn't that beautiful? That's absolute our goal here in our coming together and in whatever form of relationship we find ourselves. Cam?
So when I was reading that, that was one of the harder concepts to digest, what you just were reading. And now it cleared up and it's the willingness and the intentions of having God be the focus, right? And with that, even if what maybe, and please correct me if the ego is there with that, is it still deception and illusion and dishonesty? Or if you're there with that in your ego mind, then there can still be movement towards the ultimate answer.
Yeah, it can only be one alignment. Either it is the alignment we're talking here, those are qualities when the mind is aligned with the Holy Spirit. It can only be at one point, at one time, one alignment with the Holy
Oh,
Spirit, or is it with the ego? If the mind is aligned with any ego thought of the past, then of course it will show up in the dream as contradiction, opposition, and conflict and lack and no agreement. Né? So we are guided in that, and that's how we learn. And we are all very grateful to be shown for that because that's how we can make progress in learning, that we are shown by our reflections of the world where we are actually not aligned with the Holy Instant and the Holy Spirit, and therefore are not truly honest in order to choose anew. Né? I want to be truly honest. Né? I want that you speak through me, Holy Spirit. I want you to show me that there is no conflict in my mind. I want you to show me there isn't really any opposition anywhere in the world. And that is what uh, it is. We are opening here up in our mind to a power, to a true power, because that true power makes everything possible. That's why then there's no opposition in any corner of the world. It's he expresses it. Maybe we read then the second paragraph too, what he explains about that, because he goes then from here that that mind really thinks is thinking for everyone and for the entire world, for every being. That's where we go along when we really want true honesty. We have to learn to think for everyone.
But Devavan, so what happens for me is it comes a lot of times I feel, okay, I don't know how to do this, so I just need to be passive. Holy Spirit, Holy Spirit. I just need to rid myself of myself and just be completely passive to the Holy Spirit. But for my system, there's so much impulse to do. What am I trying to say? Um, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you
It's
do and
hard for
act
me
with
to
the Holy
sort.
Spirit. It's not about passivity nor activity. It is about being in that alignment with Him. See, whatever you are so super active, if you take yourself that moment of entering that certainty, yes, that guidance is established, you will see how it communicates with everyone and into every corner of your mind.
So the editing that happens where I will like, oh, I'm typing something. Oh no, that's not right. There's so much editing. Oh, oops, I said that. It happens after I've been with people socially. So much editing. Oh, I shouldn't have said, it's
Well, this
that's
type of
that's
editing you wanna localize too and
yeah,
find
yeah,
out
yeah,
if it's definitely not the Holy Spirit.
yeah. That's the dishonesty, right? That's the product of the dishonesty because it feels painful. It's
Because
not
if you
clear.
investigate what is it I want to edit, I want to edit it to a better understanding. I want to edit it to a clearer expression, maybe. I want to edit it to more honesty, you know.
Yeah, because I want to be better.
And
Because
those are all
Eric,
ideas of the ego only, no?
yeah,
Only the
yeah,
ego does that, no?
yeah. Thank you.
Because it
Yeah.
doesn't know the beyond uh, the communication beyond that limited meaning that has been given. So I'm
Yeah.
editing one meaning with another meaning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. And it's just that I keep feeling, and it's another victim thought, but like I don't know how to sustain this space of Holy Spirit standing in truth. I don't think I'm sustaining that through the day. I know I'm not. I mean, how is it for you,
Well,
Devavan? I'm curious, actually.
I never doubt that the Holy Spirit is present, but I also make the mistake that I judge myself and open up uh, the ego's box to come in with its interpretations. But on a second perspective, uh, where it becomes truly always the Holy Spirit is when I just remember this is just for me. The moment I think it's for somebody else, of course, I wanna have it kind of perfect or
Yeah.
um, so that it could be understood, it could be communicated. Ne? But if I just stay with myself and just know there is nobody here, this is all just myself, then I can immediately see that the Holy Spirit was teaching me throughout any form, even looking, even forms or exchanges where an onlooker would say, this is clearly ego stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's what I get out of it, what I want to get out of it. That is the point where I'm honest with myself. If I want to get out of it to be taught towards a complete undoing, which is an unlearning of the meaning I have given it, then I can, well, the ego is definitely not teaching on that level, no? Of me unlearning and undoing my my dishonest thoughts. That must be the Holy Spirit.
If I could just remember that, what you said, this is only for myself. You know, you said that before, like I'm
Mhm.
only dialoguing with the Holy Spirit. But
Mhm.
when you say that, I feel so much loss. I can tell I don't completely want. I think, oh, that sounds like a void. You know, I have such a meaning when you say that that immediately comes in like that's a complete void, like a black hole then.
Yeah,
What am I interacting with?
yeah, you
So
can. It's true because the conceptual mind is void and nothing. So maybe before you even start the process into going into the reasonability of taking it on for yourself, fill it up immediately. I see, okay, here's the void of the conceptual mind, and I have all the love and light to fill it up immediately. So I feel okay, and now I can go this way because now I'm full, yeah, with something that cannot even be perceived. So, it's all how fast we are in from moment to moment to not stop ourselves through those limited perceptions that, of course, the ego has used for a long, long time to demonstrate, uh, see, you better stay in the frame you are. You're
yeah,
much safer here.
yeah,
Don't swim outside this area. You
yeah.
know? But we have to, no? Because within that well categorized frame of our perception, there's nothing new. That's the old game we're playing forever and forever. Only when we are willing to swim beyond that fence, that string that you have it on every lake, until here, even with signs, until here, swimming area, until here. You know, the first thing I do is to swim beyond that that limitation.
So
And this is
there's
how we actually educate our kids, you know. No, you stay in this frame
Yeah.
of of safety here, no?
Yeah, that's so right. I was sharing that in our group, how you can see with the children when we just give them the space, it's like college level learning beyond is coming in. They just do it themselves because it's unleashed. There's
Yeah,
no parameter put on it. So it's
yeah,
like huge download.
yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah, that's amazing too, that be you can testify to that, no? How the mind is capable of really jumping into areas which just blasts everything that we
yeah.
thought we would be in.
so there was a conversation that Eric and I had last night, not in direct correlation with this, but the pace in which there is interacting and recognizing makes opportunities missed. And so
Mm,
training the mind, which is what we have been doing and what we always try for, is quickening that pace. But when there's so much distraction, an example, last night we were with a group and we were together and it was a lot of sharing and a lot of love. But with all of that distraction, things are missed.
yeah.
And as going through what we have been, there was a moment where there was the most action, and I was able to be removed and recognize. And I looked up at the clouds, and that was helpful for me to connect there, right? Through all of this. And it just was an allowed for so much more. I want to say honest sharing and expansion because people were just in themselves at that
Mhm.
moment. And the pace of when there's a lot of action, you get trapped in it. And that's hard. And that's what I feel, Erica, you were just saying was you miss and overlook and you feel you're just in this space of what is it? And so to be trained mind, and practicing in having awareness of the holy instant is ultimate.
Yeah, the master teacher was talking about that today in the lesson 200 video. And it kind of struck me also, though, of course, I hear it all the time, when he said, all this that we are sharing here, it's all about the body. It's all the storyline is about the body and what body do, and and that's why it doesn't communicate and doesn't extend into the entirety of the sunship. You're looking to the sky is that's the way to demonstrate, hey, look, we can go beyond the body, you know. We can actually share something that doesn't have the body as a center figure in our sharing, in our storyline. Yeah. And that will be always the recognition that whatever we feel, all emotions, all sentiments and feelings, all thoughts we have about each other, how we start out with the storyline is always only a representation of the mind and what the mind believes to be. And if the mind believes to be a body, he will demonstrate it as if bodies would be doing something, or there would be an effect out of that. And only those who had a glimpse at least of that there's more, no matter what. I include even the face in the churches to that. They start loosening up and making jokes about it. Then the storyline becomes just a story, telling a joke, literally. That's also a demonstration, an invitation. Hey, look, in truth, we are mind and so much more. And this is ridiculous here, what we are just uh, experiencing as a human being within the storyline. There starts honesty. The honesty again is then the honesty with myself, with ourself, the recognition who we truly are, how we truly communicate, what is the basis, the core of our communication. Is it mind, or is it a mind being imprisoned in a body, a brain? Because mind is, if recognized or not, always in communication with God. It's always God's mind. It's just it just needs this finger snip to open up to that. Yes, that's true. And that's why we then experience peace, peace with ourselves and peace within our relationships. And that's where he says that in the second paragraph, that the peace of mind which the advanced teacher of God experiences is largely due to their perfect honesty. He even calls it perfect honesty. It is only the wish to deceive that makes for war. No one at one with himself, at one with ourself, with myself, can even conceive of conflict. Conflict is the inevitable result of, here we have the expression of this dishonesty, self-deception. And self-deception, here it is dishonesty. There is no challenge to a teacher of God. Also, something very important to realize. There is not a universe out there, a God out there challenging us. Challenge implies doubt, and the trust on which God's teachers rest secure makes doubt impossible. Therefore, they can only succeed. And here it is what I was mentioning before. How about to accept that in that alignment with the Holy Spirit, only success is possible. Everything will succeed, but I need to extend it into all corners of my world, of my mind. Therefore, they can only succeed in this as in all things. They are honest. And now he gives a few points where we can literally say, yes, that's my goal, or that's the direction where I want to go along with true and perfect honesty. They choose for all mankind. They choose for all mankind. Second, for all the world and all things in it, in the world. Third, for the unchanging and unchangeable beyond appearances, beyond my perception of what bodies do and not do. For the unchanging and unchangeable, right there I'm at mind. Only mind can be unchangeable and unchanging. And fourth, for the Son of God and his Creator. That's what we choose and what the success is being demonstrated. How could they not succeed? They choose in perfect honesty, sure of their choice as of themselves. Yeah, it's not such an easy, it's not really an easy theme.
No, because that's before you read that, and it was perfect that you read that because I was feeling doubt is what's getting in the way. I don't have that perfect trust. It's like you're saying, on the one hand, what you say, I'm not a body. There's an attraction toward that, but there's a part literally I just felt screaming in me. Yeah, I am a body. It's like screaming that like asserting very strongly, that's what I am. I'm present to that, but that's like me being honest, like honest about the dishonesty, but I don't have that perfect trust. I can see that. But then in the holy instant I do. That's the thing.
Yeah,
I have that experience of that where there's just absolute certainty and the questions dissolve. But it comes to me, why do I not stay in the holy instant?
yeah. Because the reason is always because the illusion is more valuable. It's all about value. Yeah? I treasure my self-made illusions more than that peace of mind, that recognition that here's nothing going on anyway, nobody's doing anything, everyone is already at home. No? No, I want to have something going on here. And that's insanity, no? That's pure insanity. There's also an expression I can share that was given me that will come in about 1.5 months in the lesson 243, because there it is mentioned to be honest with ourselves. Yeah? To be honest, I will be honest with myself today. That's how that lesson starts. Today I will judge nothing that occurs. And then he gives a few indications what is meant with that. I will not. So again, he comes from the other perspective. Like as we were coming, saying we have to clarify dishonesty, what is not honesty, in order to become clear about honesty. You know? I will not think that I already know what remain, what must remain beyond my present grasp. I will not think that I already know, which must remain beyond my present grasp of my conceptual mind, né? My judgments about everyone and everything. I will not think I understand the whole from bits of my perception, which are all that I can see. I recognize that this is so, and so I am relieved of judgment that I cannot make. Thus do I free myself and what I look upon to be in peace as God created us. So that would be also a wonderful expression of what honesty means when I do not limit my thinking. Being aligned with the Holy Spirit will always open up not to limit ourselves with our thinking about what is perceived, what is seemingly going on, what value anything has. And that is our job, that's our job to do. I have to investigate in my mind, is that truly valuable? Do I truly want that? The answer is always obvious. Now, I already know that. So it's so old, it's so used up, you know. All we want is the recognition of the love of God in all our doing, all our acting, all our coming together, all our feeling, all our thinking. And also, I give that to myself too. I don't really want to be concerned about the true meaning of honesty. It is something, if I'm willing to change my mind about those limitations and not hold myself in the limitations, it will be just given automatically. It's just part of the gifts of God to see then what true and perfect honesty do, as we were just sharing it from the teacher's manual, to see, oh my God, all mankind, the whole world reflects back to me what forgiveness and love within myself uh, is successful also in in the communication with myself, with everyone. It's somehow part of the deal. No? I just have to do the groundwork. No? And that's why it is so important within the mind training to clarify that this is about a change of mind about how I see myself, the other, the world. It's all about the change of perception. And that hasn't been understood in neither in the Old Testament nor in the teachings of Jesus, because it wasn't made an emphasis that perception and the meaning of perception is what the problem is. And therefore, perception was left intact. Therefore, the devil, the ego, has remained intact. And therefore, the duality has remained intact as if God would have an opposite. There would be an opposite to God. There is no opposition to God, nor an opposite. And there's no contradiction to God either. But I can only realize that when I release myself from that meaning I've given to all perception. That's why my suggestion to all Christian communities and all religions is to make really the focus on the change of perception. It's the key. I had my personal experience was I had a revelatory experience, but I haven't yet. I mean, of course, there happens in Revelation something that kicks you out of the perceptual meaning. At least you know then always when you're off the mark. But I still wasn't active in the change of perception. And I was wondering myself very soon after this first sequence of the complete unraveling that how is it possible that was I remember the question was how is it possible that I see still a world that is attacking me? I already know from the revelatory experience it's not possible. It's not there. It has no reality. And I gave myself the answer. The answer was, and it was immediately the same time A Course in Miracles with the mind training program came in. Hey, now here's a systematic way where you can change the perception about yourself and the world you see and everyone in it. And I immediately recognized, oh, it's about practicing and being updated constantly and going that direction into, yes, there is another way of looking at myself and the world and everyone in it. And that's why, from the experience, I wouldn't have needed, It was, okay, I know who I am, and God has revealed himself. Thank you, But I thought, no, there's purpose for me. That makes purpose. That makes sense. I go along with that offer. I play the student and the disciple for a moment again. And I'm glad I saw that. And you know how I really got it? I mean, that was then a little bit afterwards. I got physically attacked. Then I knew I have to make a clear decision. And it was actually a situation about so-called life and death. And then that was my commitment then. From that moment on, I went every day to session. I started out with lesson number one, was clear, okay, I need to see that differently. Those were my teachers. That situation, that attack was a learning, a teacher for me. That was okay. If you don't want to go along, this is your reality. This is what you will see constantly. The world will attack you because this is what you made it for. No? But if you go along to change your mind, you will see. And it didn't take long. And that's, oh my God, how things were changing in the perspective. Then there is no need to support one side and position, and the Palestinians are bad, and the Israelis are good, and the Ukrainians are good, and the Russians are bad, and all those narratives, then we are free of that. We are beyond the battleground and are literally can see and extend into all of our mind and take care of all mankind. Yesterday, I've heard it touched me to the core of sadness, actually, though I don't really go there. And but I feel it for an instant, of course. And it was given as an example. Every day for the last 2 years, there's a classroom full, which means between 25 and 30 children are Palestinians are killed. Every day, a classroom is killed who have no participation in that war whatsoever. Yeah. And this wants to be seen differently. And this is not solved by us taking a position. You know, this is a true act of forgiveness within ourselves, a complete letting go of that meaning that this imagery, this appearance is given and held in our mind. There is nobody doing anything out there. This is all me doing it in my own mind. I take full responsibility for that. God has not thought that way. And once we get that necessity, and it's not just a necessity, it's an urgency, such a motivation. I was like exploding into give me this mind training. I was like, yes, yeah, this is what I want, this is what I need. Then of course it takes on a momentum by itself because then that energy is literally like a wave on which we ride and it's pure Holy Spirit actually.
Yeah, Devavan, just I don't know how much time we have, but I felt that initially, that momentum when I found the course, like I couldn't take it. I was reading manual for teachers, then I read the text, then I'm doing the lessons. But something happened where I said no, and it was a pause. Anyways,
Yeah, that's okay, and again, there's an unlearning of values going on. And then you come back and say, okay, here I am again.
yeah,
It doesn't matter because it's just
yeah,
an idea in time, and
yeah,
it's
idea and
meaningless,
time.
you know.
Yeah,
We were postponing our awakening for thousands and thousands of lifetimes and years. It's all in time, meaningless.
yeah,
The most important is, okay, now, here, we are right now doing the work and aligning ourselves with that necessity of seeing it all differently. That counts. No?
yeah,
That's why Jesus said, I will always be there for you. I will be here waiting for you. There's no time going on in his mind. No? And relieving us of all guilt. It's fine. You do what you want. But if you're not happy with the results of what you get in your mind, I'm here. That's what he says. No? And so we are grateful. No? We can feel really, uh, yeah, very, what is a good word? Like blessed. We are blessed to know that who is walking with us and who always waits for us, no matter how much time we take in order to let go of a valueless idea. No? Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. Mm.
thank you, Devavan.
Well, no comments in the chat. I guess everything is fine and we can just go in our mind and continue expressing in our thinking and aligning with him at the end to open it further. Thank you. Thank you. I have a last song, and from here like one of my ever favorites from Ibiza 2019.